pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City Council meeting. First order of business is calling the meeting to order. We did that. Pledge of Allegiance did that. Roll call. Mr. Dankert.
Mayor King.
Present.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Present.
Councilmember Fisher.
Present.
Baskin.
Present.
Obala.
Present.
Waller.
Present.
Postma.
Present.
Schuster.
Present.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Tom, item number 1 is a motion for the adoption of the agenda with the addition.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Item number 2 is approving the minutes from our meeting on July 6th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Under recognitions and awards, we have the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities update from Elizabeth Weifel, and she is here in person. And we welcome her to give a presentation. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I assume this mic is working well. So thank you, Mayor. It's great to see all of you here in Austin. I really appreciate you giving us a chance to just update the council on what we've been up to. Now, I think most of you know, but for those watching at home, the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities is an organization of 109 cities. That's up quite a bit, but I just want to say you all probably know this. Austin has been there a long time and has always been a very, very active member, and it continues to be through people like Craig and Jason and others, and it's just, we really appreciate that. But we work on the issues that unite Greater Minnesota, like local government aid, economic development, annexation and land use, transportation, environment and energy, and labor and employment. Now this, normally, we have, years, very similar pattern, but it may come as no surprise that the last 2 years have actually been somewhat unusual. Due to the pandemic, the legislature has actually been in session for 18 months straight. August will be the first month in which we have not had a legislative session since last January. We've been actively engaged throughout that whole time on bonding, dispersal of federal funds, and other priorities. Just going into the session, there wasn't as much of a change as we expected. The election kept the same, majority control. The Senate was continued to be controlled by the GOP, and the DFL controlled the House. But with a year of pandemic and other things, there were just a lot of discussions that made it challenging, but we were able to accomplish some things. Sorry, I'm getting an echo. I like my voice, but not that much. Legislating and lobbying was very different. The Capitol was closed to the public until this past June, just last month. The House and Senate office buildings are still closed, haven't been able to get in there. No in-person committee meetings, few in-person legislator meetings, and most of our lobbying was done via Zoom, the email, phone, and text. That was both good and bad. The one thing that I think was good about it is that it did allow for us to bring our members into a lot of those meetings, and I think that did make a difference on a number of issues. We adapted to that new normal. By doing things like that, we had advocacy weeks, one on LGA, one on water and wastewater, one on childcare, and one on housing. We did a lot of guest columns, did social media campaigns, worked on doing videos, and we again met with legislators via Zoom. Now, our goals going into 2021, probably no surprise to you, but LGA was a big one. But here it was really keeping focused on making sure there were no LGA cuts. We were pushing for a bonding bill, trying to get more childcare funding, and also looking for funding for city streets. The budget going into the legislative was kind of uncertain, and that really impacted sort of what we did. If you looked back last spring, we were really worried about, back last May, about, potential billion-dollar deficit. The prospects had brightened a little bit by the time November came around, but was still looking at an out-year problem. But as things went forward, that changed quite a bit. But our biggest goal, and continues to be one of our biggest issues, was LGA. And for us, making sure that it was paid on time and on full was extremely important. I think if you've been around long enough, you know that when there are budget deficits or even budget tightness, LGA has been a target. So it was extremely important to us to be aggressive and make sure that LGA was not something people even considered touching. We wanted to leave nothing to chance, and so we, a number of different tactics to do this. We had a guest column, for example, in February that appeared in 10 different newsletters. We had a video. In fact, one of your council members, and the disappointing thing about not having my PowerPoint presentations, that can't link to the video. It features your.
That's not disappointing.
It's on our website, though, if you want to see it.
Jason's TV pretty.
Yeah, well, you did a great job, but it, really focused on the importance of local government aid. And we were really happy, honestly, when the budget, the picture swung. We went from looking to a potential $1.2 billion deficit to February up to a $1.5 billion surplus. And a second round of federal funding also really helped at the state. So LGA became safe, and we're really glad we did all that work, but it was something we did not want to take for granted. The legislature did pass $5 million one-time appropriation to hold steady for some cities that were anticipated to lose LGA. So that was a number of our members, not Austin. Austin will be going up, in August on your next LGA payment. It's over $8 million and going up a little bit more. But that was a bridge for cities in advance of the anticipated bipartisan review of the LGA formula. I think I mentioned this in some conversations with Craig leading up to the meeting, but one of our big focuses over the next 6 months and going into the legislative session will be a discussion of LGA. All four of the tax chairs, because we have got both regular tax committee and property taxes, have expressed an interest in looking at the formula. I don't think they really know what that means, but it is not unusual when we have a new census for them to take a look at things again. And so they are probably going to be I think people right now, honestly, after having a session that did not end until earlier this month, people want a break. But I think they'll start discussing it this fall and be looking at that into this, the coming session. And obviously that is going to be a top priority for us. It has been and will continue to be. Other priorities we worked on, childcare. This has been something, again, that folks from Austin have helped us on over the last several years, but it's been a really big issue for Greater Minnesota. And we were happy to see that we got funding for a number of different programs, funding for the 6 initiative foundations, funding for a DEED childcare grant program that guaranteed at least 50% for Greater Minnesota, funds for redeveloping Greater Minnesota that can also be used for childcare, and childcare facility funds from federal grants. Housing was something we did put effort into. We had testified at multiple committee hearings, had an advocacy week and a webinar on this and a statewide guest column. Unfortunately, there was no bonding bill this year, and that was somewhat disappointing. So without a bonding bill, there wasn't a lot of opportunity, but it will be something we will be pushing for. We have been working on trying to create the Greater Minnesota Workforce Housing Program, and we'll continue to push on that. Now you're all probably wondering, what have I been doing? But I work on the environmental issues and spent quite a bit of time working on per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, also known as PFAS. And those are the chemicals that, keep your Gore-Tex nonstick, keep the, the grime off your Teflon. And the problem is that it's been known to cause human health concerns. And removing it from drinking water is very expensive. You can ask the mayor of Bemidji if you want to know more about that, because they're having to do that. But the bigger challenge for us as cities is that we want to protect our drinking water, obviously, but removing it from wastewater is nearly impossible. So we focused on and were able to get adopted the Municipal Source Reduction Initiative and got that funded. And that's really going to be trying to work with our wastewater operators and others to identify the main sources of PFAS to try and keep them out of the water. The other thing we spent quite a bit of time on was fighting legislation that would be harmful to our cities. And we were very happy to stop some legislation that could have held cities liable for a problem they did not create. And so that was something I spent a lot of time in negotiations on that, and we finally persuaded some of the legislators in the MPCA that it was a bad idea. Then just a couple other environmental projects I'll mention. We've been really focused on trying to do something about chloride, and we were happy to get funding for chloride reduction grants done. The PSIG continues to be an important program for our cities who have to be redoing their wastewater facilities. We did see funding for that in the Clean Water Fund, although we will push for that in the next bonding bill. A whole bunch of other work done on the environment, and in that packet I gave you, I'm not going to walk through it all, but there is a handout that highlights all of the environmental work, and you're always welcome to call me if you have any questions on that. But we did quite a bit on a lot of things sort of at a high level and also at a regulatory level on that. Now, bonding is always, next to LGA is probably one of our biggest, goals year in and year out. And, we spent a lot of time last year on it because the bonding bill didn't get done during the regular session, so we had to continue working on it right up through October. We were very pleased to see, a $1.87 billion bill pass. We also then this year really pressed hard to the legislature on trying to pass a 2021 bill with funding for some of our top priorities like water infrastructure, BDPI, housing and childcare, local roads and bridges. Engaged on that throughout the session, through advocacy weeks, legislative meetings, action alerts, and more. The House did unveil a bonding bill, but I'll be honest, it was very, very focused on the Twin Cities needs, and as you may know, it takes a supermajority to pass the bill off either floor, and that was never. They didn't even try and pass it because it just in its form could not have. The Senate expressed some interest, but they didn't advance anything forward. There's been rumblings about it happening in September, but we will push and continue to push. I don't know whether or not they'll do something this year or wait until next year. Quite frankly, having that bonding bill come so late in October, a lot of legislators just kind of look at you and be like, hey, didn't we just do that? But we'll continue to push on that, and it will be a very large priority for us next year as well. And that just kind of brings me sort of to the close. We are already laying the groundwork for that session. As I mentioned earlier, there is likely to be some discussions of the LGA formula, and that will be a top priority for us. We were very engaged and active in that last time that they redid the formula back in 2012, 2013, and it is extremely important to us. That's when we bring in, we still have Jeff Van Wyken out there and others who, really help us crunch the numbers, and then our lobbyists really engage in that process to make sure that our members are protected. A large bonding bill is going to be a real top priority for us as well. We will be watching redistricting. As you know, the numbers are supposed to get released later this summer or early fall. And it's going to have an impact on greater Minnesota. And it's also going to be an interesting year that we'll be watching. It's a year where all of the legislative seats are up for election as well as the governor, and that tends to have an impact on how both legislators and the governor act. We're hoping that means they all want to pass a big bonding bill, but we will continue to work on that. Upcoming events are summer conferences in 2.5 weeks. Love to see some of you there. Fall conference this year will be in Wilmer. And then Legislative Action Day, which is our most popular event probably, is on March 2nd. That's all I have today. We will be forwarding you our final report shortly, but this kind of gives you an overview of what we worked on, what we accomplished this year. And I just, again, want to say thank you. Austin has been, we're 109 now, but, Austin was one of those very, very early members, has always been an important part of our success. We are able to get things done at the legislature because we have active members like you, and so I want to thank you for all you do.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Appreciate what the coalition always has done and continues to do for us in the greater Minnesota area, that we're different than the metro and those folks with large tax bases, so we have different needs, and I appreciate looking out for those needs.
Thank
Council,
you.
anything for Elizabeth? Greg, anything?
No. Just thank you for making the trip down. We always appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, and always feel free to call if you have questions, especially about wastewater.
Hey, we got some things we need to
That's
take
right.
care of in wastewater. Thank you. Moving on to item number 4 is the consent agenda, looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Item number 5 is reviewing a tax abatement application from the Austin Housing Redevelopment Authority. Looking for a resolution for approval or denial of the abatement. Another house going in next to the other one. Looks like it was a great cooperative effort between Riverland Community College and the HRA. Did that house sell yet? Anybody know?
Yes.
It did so. So to do another one, that's what the tax abatement would be for. So looking for a resolution on item number 5.
So moved.
This is a public hearing as well, Mayor.
Sure. Is there anybody here who wants to speak on the review, taking care of the tax abatement for the new house Riverland and HRA are going to build? Charles? No, not your topic? Nope, hearing nothing from the public, looking for resolution number 5.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Tom?
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Obala,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
Postma,
Aye.
Bashusta,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Tom, item number 6, under bid openings and award, receiving bids for the 27th Avenue Northwest Street Extension. Stephen?
Yes, this is part of the New Tech project out in the Creekside Business Park and part of the overall development agreement between the Port Authority and New Tech was for a roadway extension. The city engineering staff was involved in extending about a 350-foot segment of roadway. We designed it in accordance with the development agreement to meet the width and thicknesses that was planned in the development agreement. Took bids on it last week with Ullin Brothers being the low bidder at just under $160,000. It was $159,888.25. Those costs will be split 50-50 between the Port Authority and also the New Tech Development Group, which is JCW Creekside. In addition to these construction costs, there will also be some city engineering costs associated as well in the range of about $9,800 that also will be split 50-50 between the two groups. With that, we would recommend awarding this contract to Ullin Brothers for this work.
Council, any questions or comments for Mr. Lang? If not, looking for a resolution for number 6.
So moved.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Obala,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
Postma,
Aye.
Bashusta,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Under petitions and requests, item number 7 is resolution approving the consulting contract with CRE Consulting Corp. With funds coming from the 2021 contingency. Holly?
Mayor and council, this item was presented at our June 28th work session. After the work session, the consulting corps reviewed the initial proposal and added some tasks and deliverables for themselves. But the city responsibilities and the cost of $30,000 remain the same. For those of you who weren't there, the consulting corps is a public service program of the Councilors of Real Estate, which provides real estate analysis and action plans for municipalities, not-for-profit organizations, government entities, educational institutions, and other owners of real property. The additions and details, if you want me to go through those, I can, or if you have any questions.
Council? I think we got a great presentation at our last work session, and it's I think anytime you get a chance to take a deeper dive at our housing issues is always going to be good. So I think it'd be money well spent.
Yeah, I think great program, and thank you again for bringing it forward, Holly.
All right. With that, looking for a resolution for number 7.
So moved.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Obala,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
Postma,
Aye.
Bashusta,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tom. Number 8, and Ann's here in person to talk about satisfying old resolution number 6772.
Well,
Yeah,
that was a good one.
The old
That
resolution.
was a good one.
I'm not going to make it back upstairs in time, so. So we talked about this at the April 5th work session. This was a resolution from December 7th, 1981. These were the deferred sewer assessments from the 60s and 70s, which I believe there was a law passed in 1980 that required us to defer them, not just keep them on our books. So there were 174 to begin with, and now we have 29 left. So we talked about this before, and we request that you satisfy that resolution.
Thank you for your work on this. Ann, looking for resolution number 8.
So moved.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Obala,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
Postma,
Aye.
Bashusta,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tom. I've been asked to speak louder. I don't think my mic's working that well, but either way. Moving on to item number 9 is resolution accepting donations to the city of Austin, and those gifts are as follows: $477 from Jason Lynette for the disc golf, $250 from Dr. Potash and Dr. Mitchell for the bike club, $515 from Berlin Delhanty in honor of Janet Delhanty for the library, and $40 from Douglas Valpay for the K-9, our award-winning K-9 fund. So with that, looking for a resolution on number 9.
So move.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Obala,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
Postma,
Aye.
Bashusta,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Item number 10 is a resolution approving an agreement for the school resource officers with the Austin Public Schools. David?
Yes, this agreement is a July 1st start of the agreement. The school has indicated that they would like to enter into it for this coming year. We are in agreement. We do think it serves the safety of our student body and teachers and staff there. The schools do get 2 dedicated officers that serve solely their needs and their calls.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, good.
Hope so.
That serve their needs and are not subject to our call load. In doing that, the school does subsidize and pay for those positions for the time that they are in working in the schools, 80% in one case, 90% in the other. So my recommendation would be that we continue for another year to serve the needs of the school through this particular agreement.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. So with that, if there's any questions, otherwise looking for a resolution number 10.
Is it the same officers as last year?
Yes, Officer Lunt would be primarily at the high school. He does have some of the other elementary schools under his banner, and Officer Blake would be at Ellis. And again, they also get assigned some of the other elementary schools under his watch as well. So.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know from talking to the administrators at the schools, especially one in particular, they have an incredibly high level of appreciation for the program. So I think it makes a ton of sense.
Right on. Couldn't agree more.
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Obala,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
Postma,
Aye.
Bashusta,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
All right. Item number 11 is approving a community festival application for the Austin Artworks Festival. Ann?
Yes, this is similar to the festival application that they applied for 2 years ago. And this is unique that the council passed this, that they would have that open alcohol zone. So that's going to be similar to what they did 2 years ago, which seemed to work out very well. The police chief and public works director have reviewed the application and have approved it. So we would just request that you approve it also.
Thank you, Ann. Council, anything further? Looking for a motion from number 11.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
It's dealer's choice, Tom.
Just pick.
Looking forward to seeing who did that, Tom. Item number 12 is resolution approving the renewal for a limited use permit for a pedestrian trail. Stephen?
Anytime that we are doing work in the MnDOT right-of-way, we have to get a limited use permit for whether it be a trail, sanitary sewer crossing, whatever that might be. So if we were working in I-90, 218, Highway 105, any of those state roadways that come through the city. This one happens to be a pedestrian trail that at the time was a connection between Yonkers and Target. Unfortunately, both of those businesses are no longer there, but the need for the trail still exists, making that connection across Highway 218 north at I-90. So in your packet is just another 10-year agreement with MnDOT for use of their right-of-way for this pedestrian trail. And we would recommend council authorize this limited use permit.
Anything further, council?
And isn't this something that'll probably change when they look at redoing that bridge too?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, this will change slightly with the new configuration, whatever that turns out to be. Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? Looking for a resolution for item number 12.
So moved.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Obala,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
Postma,
Aye.
Bashusta,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Agenda item number 13 is approving an agreement applying for funding at the J.C. Hormel Nature Center from the Greater Minnesota Regional Parks and Trails Commission. Kevin? Mr. Nelson?
Or is it Luke?
Quincy.
I can speak. Luke is actually on hand to speak to this.
Okay. Luke? Sure, hi.
Hi, thank you guys. Yep, so this is a second stab now that we're regionally significant designation. This is a second stab at some funding, some legacy amendment funding. And this would be a $320,000 project, paving trails. The main thrust is out to the tower and back with the real purpose to improve accessibility for people who cannot easily walk on natural surfaces. And so 80% of the funding would come from the Greater Minnesota Regional Parks and Trails Commission and 20% from the Friends of the Hormel Nature Center.
Thank you, Luke. How will that affect the snow grooming or cross-country trail grooming to that area?
We have had no problems grooming trails that are currently blacktop, so I don't think it'll be a problem at all.
Okay, thank you. Council, questions? If not, looking for resolution for item number 13.
So move the resolution.
Second.
Tom's. Oh, he had better things to do. Yeah.
I was just going to call on Paul.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Obala,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
Postma,
Aye.
Bashusta,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tom. Item number 14 is granting the Planning and Zoning Department the power to contract the removal of junk and/or illegally stored vehicles at 707 6th Avenue Southwest, Atacari property.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Are there any citizens in the council chambers wishing to discuss anything with the council? Please step forward, state your name and address. Charles? Good evening, Charles. Welcome to City Council. We're with the government. We're here to help.
Mayor King, council members. Any governmental organization has a right to
Name and address.
pass resolutions, to do what they feel is best for the community. But I would like to offer a word of caution. When we find a group or people within a group that disagree with the body as a whole, and the action turns out to be destroy them. I'm talking about the Dan Mueller issue. Dan's a very fine man. He's got some opinions. His opinions are different than some of mine, and all of yours, I'm sure, have disagreements with Dan. I have disagreements with each one of you, I'm sure, and you have disagreements with me. This country was founded on disagreements. There was vigorous debates at every step through our Bill of Rights, through our Constitution. I'd have a tendency or a plan, and I have done it for many years, read our Constitution from the first page to the last page every year, so I understand who we are and what we're here for. And I urge you to, when you have someone that is in disagreement with the body as a whole, listen to them. Try to work with them and try to understand them. If we continue to doing things like this, we'll wind up, the HRC should just be disbanded and the group decide what's the right idea and appoint a human rights czar. We need to step back and look at what we're doing and understand what processes we need to go through. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Charles. Honorary council member comments. Christopher. Do you have any comments, Christopher?
That's never stopped us, Christopher.
All right, well, thank you for your attendance. The work session will follow, so we're getting close to the end here. Reports and recommendations. Craig, is there staff members that have anything?
No, the only item that I have is, we're gonna receive the Finance and Commerce top projects for 2020 this year. BWBR was the architect on the Community Rec Center, and so that project was selected, so, Mayor and I will be going to collect the hardware, I guess, as they say, so that's exciting. But otherwise, I didn't have any other staff items.
Also, Paul?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Jason?
Just wanted to congratulate two members of our Austin community, so Obala for 2020, and then Mallory Opalo for 2021. They had the Outstanding Refugee Award ceremonies today in St. Paul, and both were honored. I think 100,000 plus refugees across the state, and the fact that of the 20 that were honored, we had 10% of them should make us feel pretty good about the community, and obviously is, a really positive thing for the community, and especially positive for the people who are the ones being honored. So big congratulations, and keep on going.
Absolutely. Thank you. Congrats, Obama. I'm surprised you guys made it back in time. You guys must have, avoided or kind of looked to. Okay, good.
Apparently refugees speak less time than politicians do, so it didn't last as long as it needed to.
That's excellent. Thank you, Jason. Obala, congrats.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I want to say thank you to every work Austin is doing. So those awards could not been achieved if not because of the people been supporting all refugees here in town. So I will bring the award back to encourage every refugee and, to have our city a welcoming community. And thank you, Councilman, for driving with us there. So he was our driver all the way, so he knows where he's going. So that's why we come back early. So yeah, if it was me, it could take us forever, but pretty good when you have a good driver, so you come back easily. So, but again, thank you. Yeah.
That's great. Well earned. Jeffrey?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Rebecca?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Mike?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Boy, clean sweep. I got nothing either, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn to Monday, August 2nd, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. 5 minutes.
We would have obeyed the speed limit by the time we got back. We don't want to put you in that position.
I got my pen, we gotta just put some down here.
Right, yeah.
Hey.
Don't want to be dangerous.
Finding emails or fighting?
Oh.